Intuitions. Lots of people think they have really good intuitions. I think it's not true. It's not true in general, and there are probably very, very few specific cases where we have good intuitions. So let's think a little bit about intuitions. Intuitions are sometimes called gut feelings. It's something that is processed in our minds very quickly and gives us an input, good or bad. And do we have some of those? Of course we do. We have, for example, cells in our mind that are extra sensitive to the shape of snakes. And we see a snake, we don't have to think, we're just afraid. Just afraid. Intuition. Birds, by the way, have more, relatively speaking, of these cells, and they're very afraid of snakes in an intuitive way. There's a detector, a snake detector that says, you see this, be afraid. And a few other things like that we really have intuitions about, that we have a cycle in our mind that has been evolved to be afraid or have a reaction to something. But most things in life, that's not what we mean when we say gut intuition. We think that we are able to make good choices. We meet people for the first time and we have a good gut feeling of whether this person could be a good friend of ours, or whether we could trust them as a romantic lover, or whether we should do business with them. And the question is, are these intuitions are good or bad? Now, I don't think anybody means they're 100% good or they are 0% good. Of course, it's somewhere in the middle, but not in the middle. It's somewhere between those two. And I want to suggest that they are somewhere very, very close to 0. Not exactly 0 necessarily, but a little too close to 0. And here are two thoughts. The first one is, take all your good friends. Make a list of all your good friends and ask yourself, how many of those people did you predict from day one that they would be your good friends? And then if you want to go through another exercise, think about all the people you met for the first time and really write down how many of them you predicted in day one that they'll be good friends and they ended up being good friends, and how many you thought will be good friends but ended up being terrible. So when we think about all the people that are in our lives right now and very important to us and dear and we care about and so on, and we say, what was it about the first meeting? Was there anything in the first meeting that told us that this person would be our best friend or one of our best friends for years to come? My guess is that we didn't have that gut intuition. It evolved. There are good friends, but it wasn't a gut intuition. But let's think about it more generally for a second. Under what conditions could we develop good intuition? It's a little bit like AI or any kind of learning system. Think about basketball. You throw a basket and you get a sense of whether it's going in the right direction. How did you get that sense? Were you born with it? Of course not. We play basketball for a while and we get feedback. Every time you throw the basket, you say, oh, this went about right, a little to right, a little to left, too deep, not deep enough, too high, not. You get a sense, but it's all about the feedback. And only if you play basketball thousands of times, you get this intuition. You get the feeling even before the basket has left your hand, if it's going in the right direction. But the recipe is trying it many times and getting feedback. Now think about it in life. How many things do we try thousands of times? Very few. How many things do we get quick feedback about? Very few. You look at a new home. Will this place be good for me to live? I have a feeling, I have an intuition. If this intuition is correct. Well, we haven't lived in that many homes, we haven't tried that many things, and the feedback from homes are not quick. It's not as if you move to a new place and that night you say, oh, this was a great choice and this was a terrible choice. No, it takes some time to feel, to get the feeling of a home. The same thing is true about a significant other. Most of us had few significant others, not enough to create an intuition. And also significant other, it's not as if day one you're saying, oh, this is the person for life or this is not. It takes a while to figure out what is this mutual relationship going to be. Chess players develop intuition. They can see the board and then sense where it's going before they can articulate it. They've seen many, many boards before. So anyway, the point is that there are some things biological that we have intuition for. There are some things that we get to practice a lot, really a lot, and get good, accurate feedback. But there are very, very few. And for everything else, we feel that we have good intuition, but we don't. And I think that one of the best things we could do to ourselves is to not rely as much on our intuition. I feel this is a good deal. Don't feel so much. Think a little bit more. I feel, this is a good investment. Let's think some more. I think we need to learn to trust our intuition less in all of those things that we have less than let's say 1,000 times that we've experienced something. Not fun to trust our intuition less, but I think it's a good decision strategy. Bye for now.